I'd like to call to order the January 6, 2021, thank God, Commission on Ability Assistance monthly meeting. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, am I not staticky anymore, Stacy?
It'll work, but we can live with it.
You can live with it? Okay. Just pretend I'm Barbara Streisand and you'll be okay with it. So, sorry about that, guys. I guess there was a real mix-up with the link, and whereas they didn't send it, they sent it to my old email address, but they always are also supposed to send it as a backup to the email address you guys use with me anyway, and they didn't. But I'll connect with the town to find out from that end, because it's supposed to be a public meeting anyway, not a meeting by invitation. So whatever link was out there should have worked irregardless of what email address you were logging in from. So I'll follow up with the town on that tomorrow. First item on the agenda is the Committee on Diversity and Inclusion. Stacy, do you have anything to add regarding that?
Yes, I've attended the past few meetings online. Much the way we're doing right now. It's a very large committee at this point, and I think they're trying to get their ducks in a row, so to speak, and figure out subcommittees that they want to have. So there's a whole host of subcommittees, and they need to narrow it down. So I'm not even I can't even go through the whole list of ideas. Like, they have a data collection subcommittee and a few other ones. One that I think I probably would fit best on is like the public health one.
Probably.
You know, to deal with, and we didn't even get a chance to touch on the disability concerns that, you know, would fit into diversity. Because there was so much discussion about other things. One of the topics that came up during the meeting was food insecurity, which obviously is a huge issue right now for everybody, whether somebody has a disability or is an elder
or not,
or anything because of COVID. One of the other things that really took up the very last meeting, and I get where they were coming from with this, but at the same time, it was not well organized. And they did see by the end of the meeting that they needed to have I think a professional facilitator around this, because it is a very diverse group, mixture of backgrounds and cultures, which makes sense because it's a diversity committee. But they wanted, there was somebody on there who I think is a pastor, really nice person. I can't remember names at this point, but he wanted to talk about, you know, having people talk about their own story regarding diversity, regarding some of their own experiences, negative or positive, around their own cultural or whatever their background may be.
Right.
So they had a few people in the last meeting, because they introduced it in the meeting in November. In December, they had some people kind of talk about their narrative. And one person told his story. He was Caucasian and talked about how, as a child, that his family was on the receiving end of some racism because his father had hired people that were not white or not Caucasian to work for him, and how he was beaten up and all of that as a child, because this was like 55 years ago, which was a profound story, but he used the N-word in the story for dramatic effect. But unfortunately, there were people in the group who were offended. One woman got off of the call saying she doesn't want to be on the commission anymore, even though it wasn't intended that way. So that took up a good bulk of the meeting. And I get that it was a concern because people's voices want to be heard. But at the same time, you know, how do you tell the story? Is there a way to tell the story without insulting or, you know, upsetting somebody because of that narrative? So I could see both sides of it. But that's where the discussion then in the end really became, we need a professional facilitator, because nobody really was equipped in that meeting to address it. And
roughly how many people are in the commission?
Oh my God, I think there's at least 20.
Oh, wow, that's really large.
It's big. So if I counted right, it's about 20.
Okay, I won't hold you to the exact number.
Yeah, so it's a decent background, you know, number of people. And while in some ways the meeting was well organized, I think this whole topic really threw it off. which is understandable. So we're going to have to see. They're still trying to schedule the next meeting for sometime this month.
Okay.
And so I don't have any kind of a schedule at this point. And usually we vote on the minutes at the next meeting and then they get sent out.
Yep.
But I think there's some good things that can come out of this. There's a lot, but it's still kind of gelling, especially in the wake of what happened with the story. And I get it. I can see where somebody might be offended, but I also understand the side that it was used. He probably could have done it better just by saying that they used the N word to describe, because it is offensive and nobody really should be using this unless there just is no need to. So I think it brought about some interesting discussion, but it really took over the meeting.
It's my understanding, though, that the Diversity and Inclusion Committee is not about you sharing, for example, any issues you personally had with anti-Semitism,
Right.
to use an example, but is to talk on behalf of your town's committee or commission that you already sit on to see how we could cohesively work
together.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it was a little bit weird. So I'm not sure what to make of it. I've only been on 2 meetings. I missed the first one due to a personal issue.
Right.
But I have to see how this evolves, if they can kind of get their act together around these committees and what they want to do for the town. I think the idea behind the personal narrative is to share the stories so it fits in with what's going on with the town. But I personally, when I kind of got off of the last call, I felt like, wow, this was a lot of time, because the meeting went on until like close to 9 o'clock.
Ouch.
And because there were other things that had to be discussed on the agenda, like these subcommittees and such. And it's I have mixed feelings about the committee, and I did not share any personal narrative. I'm not sure that I'm going to. I don't know that I feel comfortable, because this
should
is
be
a public
forced
forum.
to. Yeah, this is
it's
a public forum.
Nobody's being forced to do anything, but I'm just like, what would I talk about except my sister? But I'm not sure I really want to get into all of that. So my whole aim,
you're there to represent the commission and the work that
how do I
commission
bring
does.
disability into this and how we serve our people? Like if we're talking about food insecurity, hey, who's in the area that may have some disabilities who are not able to get out to get food?
What resources do we have?
Exactly.
Food pantries. What resources
exactly.
as a community can we tap?
It was a little bit strange, but that's where it's at. I want to give it a few other meetings and see if they can kind of get their act together, because this takes time. I'm serving on this committee, I'm on that committee, and there are other things, and it needs to be meaningful. So hopefully they can kind of, I hate to say, kind of get it together. They also, the chair for the commission, they want a new chair. The person who's doing it right now, I guess, is looking to step down. So there's some stuff going on there with the commission. So we'll have to see what happens. But that's where it's at.
Well, when we have our next meeting, let us know what's going on, and if we need to take a vote to talk to the Board of Selectmen as a unit as to how our commission truly does fit in with what's going on.
Right.
Exactly.
I will.
To give you as much support as we can as our representative to that larger group.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. I don't want you to feel like you're on an island by yourself, because
I appreciate that.
Nothing to appreciate. We're good. We work well together, all of us on this commission, and we're going to make sure that continues. So when you do find out what's going on, just drop me a note.
Yep.
Because it should also be a public meeting. And I'd be interested too, if I can, just go in as an average citizen to see what's going on, just to be a second set of eyes and ears for you, to lend you a little extra support, at least while everything's trying to be cohesively put together.
Yep, sounds good.
And all right, so the next item on the agenda is special ed and the school department. Linda, other than the fact that the schools are on remote model until January 11th, got anything to tell us?
A little bit.
Okay.
So yeah, I know currently they're on remote even with the special ed for the high school because of the spike, of course. But I did have a Zoom meeting with Courtney Pham. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. And it was very nice. We Zoomed together. We talked about her program, and that she also sent me a flyer, and it was just like a couple days after the meeting, and I couldn't make it. But the North Andover CPAC had a chat with the on Zoom, and it was with the North Andover Fire Department, North Andover Police Department on November 16th, just to put it out there for the town. What they just discussed some of the programs and resources that the town has in place for the families with special needs. I couldn't make that, but I am in contact with Courtney, and she is sending me stuff. So when I can make the meetings, I certainly go on Zoom and do that. So I think I'm on a good path with that right now.
Good. If you wouldn't mind, she had sent me an email trying to set up an episode of Ability Assistance, and with everything that's been going on in my life personally, I just let it all fall off the table. I did send her an email, I believe last week, explaining to her what was going on and asked if we could put together a time and like, let's talk about a time and a date that we can do that. I have not heard back from her, so I don't know whether or not my email got lost in the situation. So if you wouldn't mind helping me follow that up, I'd appreciate it.
Sure, of course. Yep.
Thank you. And if you do get anything, I try to follow their Facebook page, but if you get anything, let me know, because I like to, when I can, recirculate it onto our Facebook page.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Let's see, we've got the North Andover Historic Society. They're still in the process of trying to get what they need to be able to go before the state to get the ramp issue resolved. I had some email discussions. Dick Valancourt is going to bring it to a vote at the Board of Selectmen. I was originally going to ask just for a revote, only because I didn't have anything else and I could have recorded the time and said it, but I since have heard from the town's attorney, and they said that it was unnecessary for us to take a new vote on the situation because they had it recorded that we voted and the way we voted. I did want to say, and I'm looking through my email because I just have had a couple pop up regarding what's going on. Now, this goes a little bit off agenda, but I just want to put it in everybody's ear, and we can always take it up next month. Further, they're looking at the elevator being in their highest priority of what to do next as they renovate that building. And that they wanted to know about any suggestions about a consultant who could review the building and give them a written report that they could use as a template as they put their plans together. I read that and I took the thought process that they really should be talking to my brain's not working, the building commission, the building inspector, and go through them, because I don't think that we are in a position to be able to provide that sort of information.
I agree with you, Phyllis. It definitely has to go before the building inspector. He's the final word for the town regarding all of that.
Yep. So can I take a vote that it's okay for me to say that they should be going to the building inspector for that sort of recommendation?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay, all in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Okay, so, okay. Jeff?
Aye.
Okay, and I'll round it out with a fourth aye. So I'll let them know that we do not feel it's our place to recommend something like that, and that they should be going to the building inspector for more information. They are looking to the commission to be some set of eyes and ears on the project as things progress, as some way to help them out. You know, my thought was if they have questions, they can send an email and, you know, we can take it up at the next meeting without having to put somebody specifically on it. You know, unless, Jeff, would you be interested in being the point person?
Well, the problem is that I'm not well enough versed in the regulations that they would need to follow. That I think that this has to go again before the building inspector. He's the final authority on that. We're not charged with the town with any of that responsibility.
No.
So, you know, it would be only opening up a can of worms if we did that. And I would say, no, ours is an advisory, you know, but,
Do we want to do it then the way we did it last time, where if they have a specific question, they come to us, we open it up. If you guys want to go take a look at what they're looking at firsthand, and then we can vote on it. And if we think that they should or shouldn't be able to do something, if they need to get special permits, we advise the Board of Selectmen and then let the Board of Selectmen take it from there.
yes.
Okay,
Yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, to Jeff's point, we're not the experts. I mean, if they have questions, they can throw them our way, but then really we're a resource and can say, no, you need to, this has to go through the Board of Selectmen or, you know, through the building inspector, which is probably where it's going to go.
and it probably should go.
It
I mean, I
should.
think the
We're not
most
that
we could,
on
yeah,
that
no,
topic.
I think the most we could honestly do is, you know, like if we're walking through the building, we could say, oh, this area doesn't
Right.
look large enough for.
Phyllis, they're dealing with an architect. The architect certainly,
No.
if he had questions, should be bringing that to the building inspector and getting a definitive answer from the building inspector on that. Not this commission.
Okay, I didn't want to make that unilateral decision, but where I got that email and they've been coming to me for a lot of that stuff, I wanted to at least bring it up, put it to a vote, and let everybody have a place at the table on that. I try not to be dictatorial. So
Noted.
I'm sorry,
Noted.
noted that I try not to be dictatorial. May not succeed, but you know, I haven't had you guys yell at me yet, so I'll take that as
I think it's all good, Phyllis.
I'll take it as a win.
I'll check in with Hugh on that too.
He has no vote. He's not on the commission. I lost the agenda. I had it in front of me and now I lost it.
It's just public comment after this.
Okay, thank you, Stacy. You know,
Just us, so.
just us, exactly. Does anybody have a comment to make other than the fact that I'm not a dictator?
We're happy you're not a dictator.
I really am going to try to get back on track to putting ability assistance back together for the show. I think we were doing really well with that before COVID set in. And I know that the Board of Selectmen was taking notice of what we were doing with that. And I think we were providing a tremendous resource to the town through that. So I'm going to, hopefully we can get Courtney on to do another show, but I'm going to start combing through the piles and piles of stuff I always get of public, nonprofits and everything, and start putting out invites and seeing who we could bring on board to do a show. I don't believe we put together a February meeting date, did we?
Yes, we did.
We did.
February the 3rd.
Is it February 3rd?
Yep,
I don't have that on my calendar.
yep, I have it.
All right, so let me put that on the calendar.
You know why? She sent it to your old, to the.
Email address.
Yeah, the lawyer dot thing. So you're gonna have to reach out to her and make sure that your email is
Updated.
I just use my Gmail account for everything that's not work related. It's just easier that way to separate.
Yeah, no,
Because you never know.
you never know, but she was supposed to send it to both of them.
So that's
Which is why.
Probably why we didn't get it. And let's see, we have February, and I think that's it. That's as far out as we're scheduled. And
Do we
maybe
want to look at March and April at this point, just to get it on the calendar?
I was trying to sneak it in without Boston seeing it.
Yeah.
sure. I could do March 3rd or 10th. The Wednesday evenings seem to work.
Same.
Did we lose
Tina's
Linda?
good.
Linda?
Yep.
Linda, we lost your
You're the-
video.
Okay.
Oh, I'm trying to pull up my calendar on my phone.
Oh, don't worry about it. As long as we didn't lose you, that's all that matters.
Sorry.
So which date? The 3rd?
I can do the
Yes.
3rd or the 10th. Does anybody have any preference?
No.
No,
All right, let's
right.
do the 3rd.
Let's do the 3rd.
Okay. Is it 6:30?
Yeah,
Okay.
and hopefully we'll all be able to get into the meeting next time or the next.
Wouldn't
several.
that be nice?
Gotta get credit.
Oh,
You gotta
okay.
get the CAM credit. They worked with us to get this done, so
Oh yeah, I don't have any issue with Cam.
yeah, no, they did their job. And then April,
The 7th?
yeah, do we want to do the 7th, keeping it to the first Wednesday of the month at this point?
Okay.
Jeff?
Is that good for you?
yeah, that's fine.
Do we want to go further than that or?
I'm happy to, just to get it on the calendar.
Okay. May 5th is fine. At Cinco de Mayo, we'll have a party.
We'll probably be doing it remotely, but
That's okay. Safe to drink in your own home, right?
hey, I've got
Or have tacos. I don't know.
I have
I
you know
don't
how you
drink
have the little Kool-Aid packets? I have my strawberry daiquiri ones that are non-alcoholic. They just flavor the water.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna do Cinco de Mayo. So the 5th of May.
Okay. And then did we want to polish it off with June?
Why don't we hold off on that?
Okay.
Not knowing
What's going on?
exactly.
All right. Yeah, we've got a few months in the bin then.
Yeah, we got a couple of months in the bin. Hopefully we'll also been able to get a couple of episodes together of the show. While we're out there talking about that, are there any topics, any organizations that you guys can think of that we haven't covered yet that you'd really like to try to see if we can get on air?
Let's put that on the agenda for
Next week, yeah.
next
Next-
time. And give us some thought.
As opposed to just putting you on the spot going, who do you want to talk to?
So for next meeting.
Yeah. And then what I'm just gonna do, guys, is I'm going to always keep the schools and the Diversity and Inclusion Committee on the agenda as a standing statement until, for whatever reason, there's no, I mean, the schools are gonna be, I think those are just gonna always be, unless, for example, Stacy, we no longer sit on the commission for the diversity and inclusion.
Yeah, no, keep it on there. We'll see. Hopefully the next meeting will yield some insight.
And I'll probably also keep on the agenda standing whatever's going on with the historical building that they're dealing with, just in case there are any updates that they want us to pass along or what have you. But I will definitely add to next month's agenda, you know, people just giving some thought as to what sort of guests they'd like to see. My hope is that eventually we'll be able to get back in the studio and maybe get the kids from Greater Lawrence Tech back in the studio with us.
That would be nice.
It would be nice.
idea.
Something to look forward to.
Yeah.
I will tell you, Joshua is still very much a part of my family, and he's constantly saying, when are you finally going to get back in the studio? This is a kid who's now in his second year of community college, and he misses volunteering for us.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
good.
great loyalty.
He is fantastic loyalty. He basically said that he's got us as long as he can humanly handle it. And that's a kid who doesn't even live in North Andover. So
That's awesome.
you got to give him kudos of credit. But I think that covers it. Does anybody have any other things they want to bring up that perhaps maybe I'm not thinking of?
Nope.
That was a nod. That was a no shake on Stacy's head.
Nope.
Remember, although we can
Else.
see each other, we don't necessarily know if they can see us.
They can feel the vibe.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the entire world now knows, you know, how we guys work together and we get things done and we work well. So that's what matters. All right, then. I think after all of our technical difficulties where we were on a meeting for maybe a half hour,
Finally finishing up.
Exactly. I want to thank you guys for your patience in terms of how we were dealing with tonight. And again, I'll reach out to the town and ask them why a public meeting link wasn't clean. For all we know, it was a technical glitch with Google. We have no clue. Linda, you did give me an alternative email address. Do you want me to have the town to have that going forward?
Yeah, because it's easier for me to pull it up on my phone, and that email comes right up on my phone. So
Okay. No,
Yeah.
you don't have to give any reason. Just if that's the easier email, then I'll make sure that the town has that. That's not an issue.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. Okay, so I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting, and we will be meeting again at 6:30 on Wednesday, February 3rd.
At 6:30.
Do I have a second to that motion?
Second.
Anybody against? Okay, that's a resounding no. So have a great evening, everybody. Stay safe, and we'll talk later.